Welcome, everyone, to the start of a brand new HTL Cup Series season. We come to you from Daytona International Speedway. For the 7th time, the season begins at the High Banks of Daytona, the world center of racing. And we're glad you're with us. Qualifying coming up next, and then the duels from Daytona. 2 races that set the field for next Monday's HTL Daytona 500. All that's coming up right now here on ABN. Hope everyone's enjoying their Monday evening so far as we get ready to go racing here in Daytona. 38 cars trying to go for 36 spots. 2 will go home tonight. Question is, who of those 38 will it be? Gonna be an exciting night for racing. We're glad you're with us here for what should be a pretty entertaining night. All things be told here. So Hidalgo's at the line. You have Josh Stoltz in that Red Bull 95. And then Gary Donaldson will be your first 3 to set qualifying times here in Daytona. So here comes Hidalgo. Single car qualifying, everyone's got 1 lap to set a qualifying time here. In qualifying, we've got over an hour to do so. This shouldn't realistically take more than the 40 minutes that are on the board at the moment. If it does, the clock will just roll over. So, but Hidalgo on the racetrack now for single car qualifying runs here. Previous starts for the Texan. 8 of them, still looking for his first top 10. Across the line he goes to start his qualifying lap time with 40 minutes exact on the board in this opening qualifying session. Again, there's more time available if we need it. Josh Stoltz also now on the racetrack. Just now rolling, so he's not going to get any slipstream from Hidalgo there. Josh Stoltz in the 2nd spot, 1 start, 1 top 5, 1 top 10. See him leaving pit lane. Hidalgo's entering turn number 3. It's going to be interesting to see how these play out because it's expected that the track's going to go slower as the runs go along here tonight. We'll see how that plays out. Donaldson will be 3rd in line to go, and then Riley Garcia, the first open car in the number 40 for NFG Motorsports. So a lot of Toyotas front and center to kick off this qualifying session. Hidalgo goes top of the board, but that's expected. He's the first car in line. Josh Stoltz begins his lap time now. And we will see if the Joe Show Racing 95 can go top of the charts like it did a couple times last season in the hands of Tucker Sawyer, who's moved to the 97, the championship winning car from last season. Lap times coming up here. See what Josh Stoltz runs in that 95, and then pivot to Gary Donaldson on his lap time. Stoltz across the finish line, 49.967, 49.950. Not enough to jump ahead of Hidalgo. So Stoltz right now provisionally front row. As we mentioned, the track will get slower as this session goes along. This is Donaldson. He is on his warm-up here, coming to the green for his qualifying lap. The first car for Tombstone Motorsports. There's 4 cars in that effort. Dustin Hall, the newest member of Tombstone Motorsports after spending a year at Unforgiven. Warm-up lap complete. What can Donaldson do? His stat line, 1 career pole and 105 prior starts. Daytona will be his 106th. 6 top 5s, 37 top 10s. Would like to have a little bit of a breakout performance to start off the season. Daytona would do just the trick if he can get that to take place. We'll see how that plays out, though, as it comes along. Donaldson coming to start-finish line to complete his lap. And it will be enough. 49.976. He will be third fastest of those that have set lap time so far. And next up will immediately be Riley Garcia. The first open car on the board. No sponsorship on that car at the moment either, running a generic Toyota scheme. See if that car can put together a program if they make it to the 500 next Monday. Right in the bottom near the yellow line right now. See what his lap time looks like. Garcia, another driver with a few starts. Technically a rookie. Not labeled as a rookie in our tower, but technically is. Less than 9 starts. Garcia goes third fastest, 49.973. And so the first of those that have to race their way in are on the board. Cody Pennell, no such danger for the Georgian. Warm-up lap done. The Jack Daniels, number 8. Barrels into turn 1. Another series rookie up on the board. KJ Gibney, who is fastest in practice, is up next. And I believe rolling on track now. Indeed he is. So KJ Gibney will be the next one to focus on as Cody Pennell comes to complete his qualifying lap. Across our finish line he goes. Again, everyone in the same ballpark range, 49.973, not enough to jump into the front row. He is provisionally P4. KJ Gibney completes his warm-up. The Massachusetts native. Going for pole position at 31 for South Carolina Beagle Racing. From Revere, Massachusetts. Once again, the Chevrolet, but no longer leading his own team. Now part of a different squad as part of the silly season shakeup. Still looking for his first career pole position. Does that come today? Across the line he goes. .970 P3. He'll have to race his way to a grid spot. Figure out where he starts later on tonight. Richard Odie starting his run. He is next in line. And then Randy Payne, another one of the rookies for Ascent Racing, coming up. Odie, Payne, and then Dustin Hall, the number 1. The next 3 cars to qualify. Moving like clockwork right now. Randy Payne on the racetrack now for the first time in HTL. Richard Odie looking for his first career pole. His results, 43 starts prior to next Monday. Only 1 top 10. Came out of plate race, so odds are in his favor a little bit better. But looking for a little bit more of a season than what he's had the last couple. Across our finish line for the 78. What has he got across the line? 50.237. Makes him slowest of all by a pretty healthy margin. 0.3 off of pole as it sits right now. Randy Payne in the 91. This is a car that's been shared by a lot of drivers in Ascent Racing over the last couple of years. Yair Rodriguez. Jonathan Adams most recently drove that car as well. It's always been sort of the part-time filler entry for Ascent. Repping the Josho colors. I'm not sure if that team had a change or not, if they moved that car to the Josho Racing effort or not, with Randy being a rookie. We'll pull that up real quick. Still saying Ascent Racing, so we'll believe it there. But no prior starts for Randy Payne, so completely clean slate for the 91 going into this season. Let's see what he can do. That is going to be a very slow lap time. He only gets 1 lap, 50.380, slowest of all. Dustin Hall. No slouch here when it comes to racing in HTL. One of the most well-respected drivers in the field. In that number 1 for Team Sun Motorsports. Utah native trying to go for pole position once again. It's been a little bit since we've seen that one car in victory lane, but pole positions have not been a stranger to Dustin Hall. 15 of them. Just a couple off of the record from career poles in the series. He's got 7 wins. His record sort of speaks for itself. Almost a little under 50% top 10 rate. Pretty impressive for Dustin Hall as he comes across the line. 49.4943. That's enough for the front row, but not enough for provisional pole. Alfredo Hidalgo, who is under the radar going into this season, currently sits top spot. Chelsea Carter, the second open car to make a qualifying effort. Looking for pole position in that Toyota. We'll see what she can do behind the wheel of that 23. Looking the yellow line all the way across the back straightaway. Elias Flores up next. And then Dale Markowski in the qualifying line. Across our finish line we go. 49.968 P4. And Carter now the fastest of the open cars at the moment. Speed, those that are fastest on speed, they do not lock you in, unlike in real life. In real life, you only have a chance to lock in on the front row. If you're an open car, you have to race your way in the duels if you're not on the front row, if you're not first or second. Elias Flores, the Oakland native, rolling around the back straightaway now on his lap. We'll See what he can do there. Getting an update. We'll have to try to fix this in time for next week. The 981 is supposed to be on Josho. The 00, which is normally driven by Pacey Wygent, it's got a fill-in driver tonight. But the 00 is supposed to be on Ascent. Elias Flores goes second fastest. Great job. So Flores bumps Dustin Hall out of the front row. And now Markowski will try to do the same. Hidalgo, the first runner of the night, has been the top spot. Toyota is right now on the front row lockout as it sits. NFG and Ascent. Let's see if Markowski in that South Carolina Beagle Racing machine, if Team Ralph can try to get one of those two spots. Markowski across the line. The Cleveland native goes top of the board. 49.916. It is a margin of milliseconds between Markowski and Hidalgo. And Markowski goes provisional pole. From one Ohioan to another, Olivia Pereira. Another one of the Joe Show racing cars, a rookie as well, in addition to Josh Stoltz and Randy Payne. A little bit wider of a run down the back straightaway for Pereira. Can it be an all-Ohio front row? What a story that'd be for Pereira on debut. Pereira also making her ABN Champ Car debut on Wednesday in Portland. Across the line for Pereira for Josha Racing. Top of the board! Ohioans front row. Pereira with a pretty sparkling lap time, 49.896. And Pereira puts Toyota back on top. Now is the hot hand with Brady Smith filling in tonight for Pacey Wygent. Wygent will be in that car next Monday. But Brady Smith taking care of the qualifying for that car. Is the track going faster, and is there a chance that Brady Smith can go top of chart? Everyone looking with anticipation. What do we have in store for us right now? Back-to-back pole runs here in qualifying. Brady Smith out of 4 towards start-finish line. His HTL debut, is it going to be a front row time? It will not be. 5th place. He will be racing in one of the duels. Next on the list, Blake Galloway. His warm-up lap comes to a close. Again, those in red are open cars. They have to qualify their way in. They have to race their way in if they cannot get to the front row. Galloway has been in this position before. Was in this position back in Season 5. It's been a couple seasons since we've seen Galloway in HTL. But he is back, and once again in an open effort for Galloway Family Racing. See what he can do. And that number 5, that Ford Mustang. Ford has been pretty well outmanned, outgunned, and outmaneuvered the last couple seasons. Toyota's had the lion's share of things last season. Chevrolet before that. Ford trying to get back on track. 49.910. It's enough for second place. Markowski off the front row. Pereira still safe, though, at the top. A rookie on pole as things currently stand. Bren Roberts going to try to have his name in the mix. He was one of those expected to be on the front row tonight. Is that prophecy going to be fulfilled? The predicted front row was Josh Susie and Bren Roberts. Is the track coming up green at the right time for Bren Roberts? Time will tell. At turn 2. Exciting stuff as you see these runs get closer and closer and closer to pole time. Galloway on a little bit of an island, relatively speaking. About halfway between Markowski and Pereira. Bren Roberts, a lot of experience. 2 race wins last season as a super sub. Full-time effort this season, 49.933, only enough for 5th. And we'll go from Bren Roberts to his team boss, Steven Oberstadt. Oberstadt has won several times in ARCS competitions, still looking for his first win in HTL. Caitlin Height did a lot of damage in that number 3. Obviously, Caitlin Height, last driver of that number, 17 HTL Cup Series wins, a record in the series. Large shoes to fill. Steven will be the first one to tell you he's not Caitlin Height's caliber of talent. But when it comes to Daytona, he knows what he's got. Both Oberstadt brothers, Steven and Patrick. We'll see Patrick later on, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we will. Patrick, I think, had the bad run of the draw. He's like in the lower half of the qualifying runs here. Dean Clavitt up next and Tyler Ratliff. Steven Oberstadt across the line. Not a great run. Only 15th fastest. He's not going to be happy with that. 15th fastest on the qualifying runs. That is 3rd from the bottom of the timesheets. Dean Clavitt on the board now. Another open car. We've had a couple of them now run on the board. Galloway on the front row, which would take one of those open spots away if he stays there. As everyone, all the other open cars are hoping that someone knocks Galloway off the front row. Because if Galloway stays second, that means only 1 transfer spot's available in Duel 2. Which is a bit of a nightmare. With Clavitt running in that number 43 at the moment. Open car, part-time effort for the 43 at Clavitt. We'll see how long that lasts. He ended up running most of the season last season, what was supposed to be part-time. Cross our finish line for Clavitt. Snap on 43, 49.931. 5th fastest, not good enough. Ratliff across our finish line now. NFG started off hot. It has not gone their way since Hidalgo was dropped from pole and subsequently dropped from the front row. Things were looking really good for a moment. Ratliff did not have a great season last season. It picked up a little bit late into the season. A couple of top 10s. His first top 10s in HTL came late in the season last season during the playoffs. Hoping for a lot better. He's not made a lot of friends. There's not going to be a lot of help for him outside of his teammates tonight. We'll see what he can do, though, with the pace of that 54. Across the line, the Floridian, one of several, goes mid-pack. 10th fastest for the 54. Matt Vorndren on the track now, a championship contender, most recently in the ARCS A-Square Cup Series that just wrapped up last weekend. Placing Josh Susie in the 81. Susie moved to the 24. We'll talk about that in a moment. So Vorndren's got some big shoes to fill, but he is a championship contender in ARCS, another one of ABN's series that we broadcast. That season wrapped up and came to a close. He's also a contender in High Octane on Saturday nights. as Vorndren comes around turn 3 and 4. We'll see what he can do. Cross start finish. Vorndren for Carolina Beagle Racing does not get a great lap time. 49.961, 12th fastest for the 81. Angel Santiago in the 26, another open car, this time for Coast to Coast. The team's got 3 charters: Byron Jones, Zach Meredith, and Mark Parkhurst. Parkhurst not making tonight's qualifying session. He will start from the back. Any of the chartered entries, Callie Height, Mark Parkhurst, Alfred Denny, so on and so forth, those that missed tonight will start the race in the back of the field for the 500 next Monday. Again, 5 of those cars, 5 charters not qualifying tonight, so they've got their work cut out for them next Monday. Mongol, Denny, Feimster, Height, and Parkhurst all starting from the back next Monday. Santiago running at the moment. We'll see how this plays out. Not a great lap time. Santiago will only go 19th on the board, but see how that plays out for him. Again, 2 advancements per duel. Galloway's got 1 automatically on the front row. Zach Meredith, one of the most consistent drivers late last season. Former champion back in season 3, trying to do it again. The competition is still pretty tight at the top of the board. With Susie, Kissenweather, Hunter Peach in that mix, Pacey Wygant back in the mix. Can't overlook Chad Swatsworth either. Swatsworth's been a contender every season. Meredith trying to dice it up and go for a second title as well. Across the line for his qualifying lap time, 50.102. Not a great run, 19th. It seems like the track time has pretty well fallen away, and from one teammate to another for Coast to Coast, from the 17 to the 60. See how this plays out. Seems like the track time has really fallen away. It's what we expected. We didn't expect it to get hot like it did for a moment, but we did expect that there would be some drop-off as this qualifying runs went along. And that may be the case now. So those about to run, we've had 22 set lap times. We still have to set 16 on the board here. Byron Jones also slow lap time, 21st. Not what he's looking for. That team's gonna have a lot of work to do going into the duels here. And right now they're 1, 2, 3. They're 19th, 20th, and 21st of those that have run so far. And unfortunately, that means Santiago's not going to have help from teammates with Meredith and Jones on both sides of him here. Zach Apperson for Tombstone Motorsports also had a pretty hot end of last season. Seeing if he can carry that momentum to start this season in that Red Bull number 4. A couple Red Bull cars, not affiliated. Josh Stoltz and Zach Apperson running 2 completely different looks. See what Apperson can do, the Virginia native. Coming around turn 4. This is, I believe, to set I believe we're doing a flying lap now. We'll see how this times out. This is actually, this is a flying lap. 49.937, top 10 for Apperson, so a little bit of pace still in the racetrack. Not sure how much, though. Patrick Overstap in the 88 for Carolina Beagle Racing. We'll see what he can do in that Chevrolet. Him and Bryn Roberts were a pretty substantial 1-2 combo last season anywhere Bren Roberts was, Patrick Oberstadt was not far behind. Hoping to rely on that continued success this season as they go for more than just spoiler wins. 24 car set lap time so far. Oberstadt is car number 25. Ross Baxter for the sister team, South Carolina Beagle Racing, is up next. Oberstadt across the line. 49.930. It's enough for top 5 provisionally as things sit. So the track times may be improving a little bit. We'll see what Ross Baxter can do. Ross Baxter struggled a lot last season. Someone looking for a lot of improvement this season if he can get it done. Notably, gone is the West Virginia paint. He repped University of West Virginia, the Mountaineers, most of last season. That is not the case today. Blake Henderson up next after this. Still have drivers like Tucker Sawyer, Josh Susie, Eli Sasek, Chad Swatsworth, Hunter Peach, Mark Kissenweather, Josh Arnold, Jeremy Braille. Some heavy hitters still to come in qualifying here at Daytona. Baxter across the line. This was random draw for the qualifying order. Baxter not breaking into the 49s, 50.073, only 21st fastest of 26 set so far. Blake Henderson, former ABN Daytona 500 winner, 3-time HTL Cup Series race winner. He's won the duels twice. New paint look for the 25 for Tombstone Motorsports, the Atlanta, Georgia native. Trying to go for pole position. Is it on the cards? His teammate Dustin Hall, only 11th fastest. Apperson went 8th. And these drivers figured out enough here, dialing in these cars in qualifying, dialing them to the wind to get something out of it. Henderson across the line, 49.958. Does that change? 49.941. That's only enough for top 10. So he jumps ahead of Brady Smith and Dustin Hall. Lily Sharp up next, open car. What a whirlwind for Lily Sharp. Had hands on a charter to run independent. Funding for that charter fell through. Now having to race as an open car. Lost her seat with NFG Motorsports as a result as well. Hidalgo filling in that 19 car. Sharp does get the 18 because Swatsworth moved numbers, part of the Militia Racing Club shakeup. Speaking of which, Kyle Taub up next for that team. 49.976 for Sharp. Only goes 20th fastest. She'll have to race her way in. Kyle Taub might have to do the same thing. Another open car for Militia Racing Club. The team was able to lease a 4th charter. They have 3 for Kissenweather, Arnold, and for Swatsworth. They leased a 4th charter for Taub last season. Couldn't find the lease to do this season. So Kyle Taub running open. Sometimes not so stressful. You look at some tracks on the calendar like Kern, Willow Springs, Chicago. Pretty easy to make those races. There's not going to be as many cars to worry about. Races like Daytona, Las Vegas in 2 weeks. Going to be hard to make the field. We know how good Kyle Taub can be, but a little bit more luck is required here. 50.246. Qualifying did not provide that luck. He will be second last of those that have set time so far. Bailey Thompson trying to do better. ended last season on a hot streak, trying to continue that run here tonight. We'll see how it plays out. Feast or famine for Thompson on the plate tracks. Normally famine here at Daytona. Normally able to do pretty well at her home track at Talladega. Seeing if those tides can possibly turn around this season here in Daytona. Thompson looking for some good results to start the season. Out of turn 4. What can the Huntsville native put on the board across the line? 49.958. It's not a great lap, not terrible either, halfway through and mid-pack for Thompson, 15th to 30. Eli Sasek on the board now as well. He's on a timed lap. He won the Firecracker last season here in Daytona. He's going to try to do the same thing here in the 500, but that begins in qualifying. What can he put together? Sister car on the front row. Pereira for Joshua Racing on provisional pole. Flores top 10 as well. That is a teammate directly with Sasek. Brady Smith 11th. Stoltz 14th, so Ascent's got some pace. Does Sasek have pole pace? That is the question. No, is the answer. Sasek, 14th fastest, jumps right ahead of Thompson and Stoltz. Mark Kissenweather. Bit of a number change from Melissa Racing Club. We'll see a lot of this here. Kissenweather in the 2. Josh Arnold in the 12. Shad Swatsworth in the 6. It was Arnold in the 2. That went to Kissenweather. Swatsworth gave up the 18 to move to the 6. And Arnold moved from the 2 to the 12 as part of that shakeup. Kissenweather was Rookie of the Year last season. Pretty well undisputed in that fact as well. 3 wins last season. All fell apart from him in the playoffs, unfortunately. Trying to do better this season. We thought he was not returning. Those fortunes have changed. But not a great qualifying effort. 31st fastest. You'll have to try to race for a better spot in the duels. Jeremy Braille, former 2-time ARCS Daytona 500 winner. Former ARCS A-Square Cup Series champion in the 74 for B-Tron Racing. Braille trying to run across the line here, see what he can do. Traditionally pretty well in Daytona across his career. Can that continue here tonight? Qualifying run on the board, 49.961. 17th fastest. That puts him in dual 1 as things sit with only 5 cars lead. You have yet to set a time. Hunter Peach up next. Heavy hitters coming up. Peach, Sawyer, Susie, Swatsworth, Arnold. All of them expecting to be contenders in the 500 next Monday. How much does that show tonight? It is not safety yet for Blake Galloway. Galloway hoping he stays on the front row through these last 5 runs. That will make life very difficult for those trying to make the show if Galloway locks in immediately. Hunter Peach coming to the start finish line. Tucker Sawyer up next. Across the line, 49.924. That's a really good run for Peach, top 5, but not front row. NFG has some good qualifying pace. They need to put it together for the race and try to get that first race win. Seuss is going to try to do that for him, because he's going to be not far behind here. Tucker Sawyer in that 97, that championship-winning 97 for Ascent. A lot of red cars hoping for a little bit of a miracle. Remember, outside and inside lanes provide 2 open spots. Galloway right now has one locked up. Galloway had to race his way in 2 seasons ago in season 5. It was a last lap bit of chaos that got Galloway into the show. Sawyer goes 27th. Not a good run for the 97. Sawyer still figuring out the ovals a little bit. Thankfully, he's already locked in. He's in a charter entry, so he can figure it out in the duel itself. Josh Arnold on the board. Wonderful friend of ABN. Always glad to see him and his team on the racetrack here. Glad to see Kissenweather back. Chad Slotsworth used to race under the ABN umbrella for Arrowhead Racing. Toyota team. A lot of company at the top this season, with Susie coming from Chevrolet to Toyota for NFG, and with the Ascent expanding, it's a bit crowded on the Toyota side of things. What can Josh Arnold do? First race win came last season at the Brickyard. He will have to work a little bit harder to try to get a win at Daytona, 31st in qualifying as things sit. His teammate Josh Chad Slotsworth across the line now. 2 cars left to run. Slotsworth in that Mobile 1, number 6. Gonna see what he can do. Pull up his stats right now. Daytona will be his 110th start. When we get to next Monday, 7 poles. He's looking for number 8. Can he get it? And then 2-time champion Josh Susie will be the last one to go. Cross start finish line for Chad Slotsworth to complete his lap time, 50.237. Not a good lap time for the Militia Racing Club cars, 33rd fastest. Let's see what Josh Susie can do. Number 24 for NFG Motorsports. Went from having nobody in it to one of the best in it. Susie, no slouch. 70 starts, 5 poles, 12 wins, and an impressive resume. Across the line for Susie. What has he got? 49.898. Was that pole position? It is front row. It knocks Galloway off the front row and out of safety. Susie just gave the open cars a lifeline at the expense of Blake Galloway. Front row for Susie. My goodness. Wild, wild stuff. As he comes down pit lane, Susi front row with Olivia Pereira, the rookie, on pole for the HTL Daytona 500. Insanity. 3 open cars going home. 4 make the show. And that is absolutely wild. Absolutely insane. Olivia Pereira, though, on the front row, on pole position as a debutante, is pretty wild. Crazy stuff. Pereira, Susi, front row. Remember, those that are on the odd numbers, so 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, so on, are in dual number 1 as well. Those 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, they're in dual 2. And while we're at it here, we'll pull up the nice little scoreboard we got going on. For those following Monday Night Football along at home, the Bears currently lead the Vikings in the second quarter, 7-3 in Chicago. Those that were watching at home, wanted to kind of pull that out. Doesn't quite fit with the tower the way we were hoping it would, but that's fine. We'll show that periodically throughout the night. But the Bears currently on top there as everyone tries to gather themselves. All right, so it looks like we had some misinformation on our end. So the top 2 on speed do lock in. So Galloway and Clavitt are locked in based on speed. So that means that there's only 1 spot in each duel that will give a position. But Clavitt and Galloway locked in on speed. It means that there's 1 spot in duel 1 up for grabs and 1 spot in duel 2 up for grabs. So that was information that was incorrect on our end. We do apologize for that. That makes it a little bit more critical for those that are not Blake Galloway and Dean Clavitt. Galloway in duel 1, Clavitt in duel 2. Looks like a decent amount of the cars are going to be in duel 1. Santiago in duel 1, Taub in duel 2. Let's circle back around and see how that's going to play out. Clavitt and Galloway, the only cars in the top 10 that were open. Carter, Garcia, Sharp, they're all open cars in duel 1. So they're probably going to have to reshuffle and put a couple of those open cars in duel 2, because otherwise Taub gets that duel 2 spot by default. So they're probably going to shuffle that around a little bit there. And we will see how that plays out. And that's what they're working on right now. See if the results tab works. We've never tried using a results tab while the session was active. It's active, but it's not entirely giving us information. So, but you get an idea who the top 10 is: Olivia Pereira, Josh Susi, Blake Galloway. See if I can update that. Does this work? Let's see if this works. Hey, it worked. Awesome. So, Pereira, Susi, your front row. Galloway and Clavitt, 2 open cars locked in on speed. Markowski, Hidalgo, Peach, Oberstadt. Clavitt, Roberts, Apperson, Flores, and Henderson, your top 12. Again, those 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th, and going on back are in Duel 2. Pereira, Galloway, Hidalgo, Oberstadt, Roberts, and Flores will lead the charge in Duel 1 coming up. Sort of perusing through the field. Some of these drivers that will have a lot of work to do. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to coverage of the HTL Daytona 500 qualifying duels coming up here, Duel 1. In just a moment, we've seen single car qualifying take place. Olivia Pereira and Josh Susi locked onto the front row. Dean Clavitt and Blake Galloway locked in as the 2 open cars on speed. We have to set the grid for the inside lane and determine the 3rd open car to make the field from the first duel here. 3 cars going for 1 spot to race their way in. Everyone else trying to figure out the starting positions for next Monday's great simulation event. We're glad you're with us here on ABM. We apologize for the longer wait than normal as we got ready for Duel 1. We'll go over the starting grid here in just a moment as everyone gets some practice in. Final adjustments before we get into race trim mode for the duels. A lot of work for everyone to do here as we get ready to grid up in Daytona. The starting grid, bottom of your screen. Coming up now, Olivia Pereira and Blake Galloway. In row 1, Galloway locked in based on speed. Pereira locked in being the pole sitter. Alfredo Hidalgo and Patrick Oberstadt in row number 2. Bryn Roberts and Elias Flores in row number 3. We'll see how they do. Teammates there side by side. This does not look accurate. This looks very much pretty jumbled up here, so we will hide that for the moment. Actually, see if we can reboot that before we get that underway. A lot of things are breaking right now, so we apologize. Everything's having its issues right now. It is Pereira Galloway on the front row. Oberstadt Hidalgo, Roberts Flores, Smith and Stoltz, Ratliff and Braille, Carter and Garcia, Oberstadt Meredith, Sharp, Baxter, Jones, Kissenweather, and Odie. Your 19 cars. 2 cars going home from this duel. Against Pereira on pole position, the debutant. Grabbing the reins. Put the starting grid here, see if this works. There we go. A little bit better. As we get ready to run. And just kind of going over what we already knew before. Hidalgo and Oberstadt there. Roberts and Flores. Brady Smith and Tyler Ratliff. Again, Smith filling in for Pacey Wygent. Josh Stoltz and Jeremy Braille there in row 5. 2 cars battling for that last open spot in row 6. Same with Sharp, also battling for that open spot in row 7, along Oberstadt, Baxter, and Meredith in row 7. Sorry, in row 8, row 9, Jones and Odie. And on his own, Kissenweather at the back of the field. As we get ready to go racing, duel 1 underway. Green flag flies, and away we go. Outside lane immediately dropping back. Inside lane led by Pereira. Then the 19 of Hidalgo. And then the 83 of Bren Roberts. 3 wide, further back. 88, Patrick Oberstadt. Trying to make some moves on Blake Galloway. Did not work. Inside lane, just freight training the outside lane. And everyone on the outside lane having to shuffle to the back. That's where Patrick Oberstadt is. Garcia having to drop back as well. Same with Ratliff, with Galloway, who's already locked in on speed, with Flores and with Tyler Ratliff at the moment. Only 3 cars on that outside lane as things sit. Pereira leads the way. There will be a pit stop in this duel. Both duels will have a pit stop guaranteed. Pit window looking to be about 25 laps here in the duels. Outside lane trying to build momentum once again. And that is on the back of Lily Sharp. Sorry, not Lily Sharp. That is actually on the back of, I believe, Byron Jones. I stand corrected again. That's Steven Oberstadt. Oberstadt leading the way. Having to get used to all the new paint schemes. Byron Jones is on the inside lane, I do believe. And his number 60. It is Steven Oberstadt leading. Leaves Zach Meredith in that number 17. It is Meredith, and then Braille, and then Galloway behind them. As the outside lane tries to form up one more time to make some inroads here. Outside lane trying to make some movement happen here. They've gained a little bit, but not enough to be really proud of at the moment. Working on Carter, working on Stoltz. That's where Oberstadt's at right now. And unfortunately, all it takes right now for the outside lane to be completely obliterated is just for one of those cars at the front to just jump up and kill the momentum. You would imagine with Roberts third in line, he might try to jump up there ahead of his team boss. Instead, stays inside lane. So now it's on the hands of Hidalgo and Pereira. The 2 Toyotas leading the way on if they want to adjust and alter the momentum of the outside lane. Inside lane beginning to pull away once again. Roberts clear one more time. Brady Smith also clear out of 2. 19 cars all close together. Riley Garcia dropping back and sitting back, expecting the melee I think everyone's expecting with the first race of the season. Points are on the line. It's stage points rules in the duels. Top 10 score stage points 10-1. And winning a duel also gets you a playoff point. So there is a reason for some of these drivers to fight. We are officially points racing here in Daytona. So we'll see how that plays out. Right now, the top four have broken away pretty healthily, and that will help Josh Stoltz in the 95 also break free and get to that single file line. Outside lane, Kissenweather moves to the outside. I think that was with help from Patrick Oberstadt. So 3 wide further back. And that did nothing to help the outside lane at all. Outside lane a little bit weaker. Top 5, single file inside lane from Pereira to Stoltz. Stoltz is trying to push Oberstadt up the hill a little bit. Trying to keep him from getting back side by side. Didn't work. But good initiative from Stoltz. He will get clear once again out of turn 2. That outside lane struggling mightily right now with 19 cars in total. We saw this last season. We saw this back in season 5 as well. What is typically easy to do with 36, 40 cars, a lot harder to do with half that grid. So momentum-based is the plate racing with these 7th generation stock cars. You need to have a lot more firepower behind you to make moves happen. Everything moves at half speed. And you're seeing that right now with that outside lane. The outside lane in a 40-car field, a 36-car field even, like we'll see on next Monday's race, the outside lane is the place to be. That's where the party's at. When you have 19 cars, the party is already shut down and no one was invited. And you're seeing that right now. Steven Oberstadt trying everything he can. Meredith with latency issues. And he does come back. He drops out of the way. So he does the right thing, but that'll hurt the outside lane again. And they'll lose more ground. Now losing ground to Chelsea Carter, that 23 car. Right now, the battle for that final open spot in Duel 1 is between Carter and Sharp, who are nose to tail right now. Only one of them gets to make it in. Sharp's never failed to qualify for the HTL Daytona 500. Right now, as it sits, she's out. See how that plays as we go along here. Again, green flag pit stop around lap 25 is expected. Single file for the first 7 cars. And the outside lane growing restless. Not making any headway here. Baxter in 8th place, now ahead of his team boss and teammate. Byron Jones jumps to the outside lane. The 60 makes his appearance on the outer lane. Trying to make some headway here, and it's not going to work very well. Ratliff gets clear, and Odie may not be far behind, and there he goes. Odie in 10th. And we'll go to the outside lane. We'll jump ahead of Byron Jones. Odie's feeling a little bit aggressive right now. But the top 8 cars, top 9 cars, all single file. Again, those in blue already locked in. They were locked in before qualify even started. They are chartered entries. They are guaranteed starts. Those in red had to qualify their way in. Galloway, the fastest on speed in qualifying, is locked in. The 23 of Carter, the 18 of Sharp, the 40 of Garcia, racing their way in. There's one spot between the 3 of them. Only one of them gets to advance to the dance next Monday. Carter and Sharp nose to tail. Garcia has made his way forward. He hung back at the initial start. He is now also top 10. Again, Galloway, nothing for him to really lose. He's in the show. It's a matter of where he's starting next Monday in that 36-car field. Pereira, your pole sitter next Monday. Started this race on pole as well and has not left. Has led all 12 laps completed so far. Hidalgo's been right behind. Ren Roberts staying comfortably in 3rd. And then Brady Smith filling in for Pacey Wygent. in that double zero for ascent. Doing a good job right now. Trying to keep that double zero in the top 10 for Wygant when he takes that car over next Monday. And then you have Josh Stoltz in 5th. He'd be 9th. If things stay as they are, he'd be top 10 as well. He'd be in row 5. Starting 9th next Monday. Outside lane trying to move again. That is Jeremy Brault trying to lead that line in the 74 for B-Tron Racing. Side by side with Garcia and with Ratliff. Baxter still in safety. 8th place single file. 9th place single file. Ratliff also clear now. Everyone in the inside lane gets a benefit of this with Pereira and Hidalgo pushing so hard at the front. They get to save a little bit more fuel. The further back in the pack you run, makes that pit stop a little bit shorter because it will be more than likely a fuel-only stop for everybody when they come down pit lane on lap 25. Only time you take tires in this situation is if there's a caution. And so far, completing lap 15, we've been green all the way through. A lot of struggles right now. Kissenmother up top, outside lane. Outside the top 10, 12th place. That outside lane is gone. There's just nothing to it right now. Overstack cut his losses. He's on the inside lane now in 13th. There's just nothing there in the outside lane. Not enough cars right now to generate any momentum. You've got really to wait until the pit stop cycle. Wait until everyone's fragmented. Everyone usually breaks up a little bit. That's when you can start generating momentum and building runs. Is when you fragment the group. Everyone's in a single pack at the moment, but no one's going anywhere because everyone's going the same relative speed. Velocity is very similar. Momentum's very similar right now. You need that pit stop now to sort of break things up, shake things up. People that are up front right now may not be up front when that pit stop comes around. We'll start seeing a little bit more of that tandem drafting we saw over a decade ago with the Gen 5 car, where you've got 2 or 3 cars that hook up and just set sail. But that's about 7 laps away as the outside lane continues to struggle and really just languish behind. Pereira, Hidalgo, Roberts, top 3. That's how it's been since the opening lap. We know how good Bryn Roberts is. Hidalgo giving himself a chance to shine. 8 starts, only 1 top 10 in his career. Pereira debuting in HTL tonight, debuting an ABN Champ car on Wednesday, and having a whale of a time so far. Driving the 96 for Joshua Racing. Joshua Racing, 2 of those cars right now in the top 5. Only the Ascent cars, the 00 as well, in the top 5. No one making desperate moves yet, and that's a good sign. Also means that a lot of that stuff's yet to come. So we'll figure out how that plays out. Completing lap 19, on to lap 20. playing the halfway mark in duel number 1, halftime on Monday Night Football. So for those that are tuning in during halftime, we appreciate you spending your time with us here. Chicago winning at home 6-10 over the Vikings. As things sit on Monday Night Football, we'll have that ticker just about every HTL Cup race through the football season. One of the great additions we had. Thanks to Pereira introducing us to that little widget at the bottom of your screen. That's how things stand at the moment in Chicago. We'll be in Chicago twice in the HTL Cup Series season. We'll be on the streets next month, and they'll be in Chicagoland after the new year in Joliet. Everyone getting a little bit restless in this single file train. It is a single file train. There's no mistake about it in the slightest. Galloway dropping back. He's the car on the outside at the moment. He is getting to the back of the line. Again, pit stops in about 3 laps for just about everybody. We'll see if Pereira and Hidalgo have to come in early. And if they coordinate that, there's going to be a lot of cars in that ascent group that could come together. Flores, Smith, Stoltz, Pereira, all together in that. They could all come in together. That's a 4-car group. And that'd be very important to have. I would have to assume you pull a couple more Toyotas with you. Maybe Carter. Maybe Hidalgo comes in as well. Maybe Sharp. Pull in a little group of cars for that pit stop when they come in. But I would assume lap 25 is a pretty decent number to hit. 24, 25 gets you safely to the end of the race and lets everyone race it out. On lap 23 of 40 here at Daytona for duel number 1. This sets the inside lane. Car coming down pit lane on his own. That's the 83 of Brendan Roberts, and that's actually all of the Carolina Beagle Racing cars and Braille for B-Tron. So all Chevrolets came in that time. Literally all Chevrolets came in at that time. 11 Toyotas, 3 Fords out on track still. 5 Chevrolets came down pit lane. Not a lot of Fords in this duel. They are outnumbered by a magnitude. But they came in, and they came in when there wasn't any traffic. They beat everyone to the punch. They know that I think all the Toyotas are going to be coming in together here. If not this lap, next lap. Baxter took tires on his pit stop. Not really something that matters for Baxter. He's going to be in the race no matter what next Monday as a chartered entry, but he has secured that he's going to be last of those running tonight. Taking tires by mistake. Just a huge error there. The other 4, Roberts, Oberstadt, and Braille, they all took fuel. They had the right assignment, and they're together. Issues that they're still losing time. And they're losing time by a pretty decent margin. Which, I mean, you'd expect. You've got 14 cars to 4. "25 laps in the books." Single file, 14 cars in this main pack. 3 Fords, 11 Toyotas. It is Ascent and Josho leading the way with NFG sprinkled in there as well. Seeing how this all plays out. 26 laps complete, going a little long here on this stop. Everyone playing the waiting game. They continue to gain on the 4 that came down pit lane, the Chevrolets that came down on lap 24. So they continue to pull on them. Our pit stops incoming here. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Carrera leads the Ascent cars down pit lane. A lot of Toyotas came down. So did Meredith. That ascending Ford in that conversation. Actually, both Meredith and Jones, the coast-to-coast cars, came down. Galloway stayed out, as did the NFG cars. So the NFG cars now out. 4 cars together, but it took them a little bit to get put together. Hidalgo, Sharp, Ratliff, and Garcia. They come down pit lane here. In trouble, Hidalgo. Hidalgo spins on pit entry. Rear brakes locked up. And that is his duel practically done and dusted. Brady Smith and Mark Kissenweather inherit the lead once everyone cycles through. Sharp, Ratliff leaving pit lane now. Same with Galloway and Garcia, but they will be passed by this group of 5 cars. Group of 5 together in order. Smith, Kissenweather, Odie, Flores, Meredith. Sharp on an island will not have a chance to really defend from this group. 20-mile-an-hour difference as they charge up on the 18, who has no help. Sharp making them go the long way around. This is Sharp's to lose as far as the open spot conversation goes. Bad pit stops by Carter and Garcia. And Sharp has draft from the leaders. This is Sharp's to lose for the open spot. As we mentioned before, has not failed to qualify for the HTL Daytona 500. Right now, coming to 10 laps to go, that looks set to continue at the expense of her teammate Garcia and Chelsea Carter. Only a couple things could change that status within the next 10 laps. And that is mechanical failure or a caution. Been green so far, the first 30 laps completed. And usually the rule of thumb, if Christina Ryan was beside me in the commentator's booth, if one duel is calm, the second one's chaotic. We'll see if that holds true tonight. This was the prove yourself duel. A lot of drivers that maybe their career results haven't amounted to a whole lot. A lot of rookies in this duel. I'd say they've done pretty well. Richard Odie sitting right now in 3rd. Haven't said that about him ever in HTL. Outside of one race in the National Series at Chicagoland almost 2 years ago. He has largely been a figment of the background in the HTL Cup Series field. Right now, he is front and center, battling for a dual win alongside Rookie of the Year Mark Kissenweather from last season, former HTL Cup Series champion Zach Meredith. The issue that we're going to come across here is you couldn't get the outside lane to work with 19 cars. What are you going to do with 6? That is the next question that these drivers are actively trying to figure out. There is no teammates in this group, minus the 0 and the 99. The 0 and the 99 are teammates, but they're not together. They can't hook up. As much as they want to, they can't. Whatever Kissenweather and Odie decide to do, that's it. And Kissenweather trying to telegraph it. 7 to go. Over a second back is where you'll find a second group. 7 cars in this one. Bren Roberts trying to lead the cavalry to a chance at winning the duel. It is Roberts, Patrick Oberstadt, Steven Oberstadt, Josh Stoltz in this group. The 60, Byron Jones, Jeremy Braille, and Tyler Ratliff in this group of 7. And I think they've done it. They are in the conversation. They are in the draft, thanks to Ross Baxter, the 38. Coming to 6 laps to go. This is still anyone's fight. Here they come. Outside lane, Bren Roberts full throttle. Teammate support behind. Meredith sees it coming, goes to the top. And chooses otherwise. And gives Bren Roberts the lane. Up goes Odie. Odie gets a push. Odie wants to win a duel. And he's got some progress. Ratliff moves to the bottom. Odie moves up top. Brady Smith tried to block it. Odie smarter than it. Odie to the point. Leads the race with 5 to go. Odie led that lap. Now what does he do? He's clear the inside. Does he stay with Roberts? Does he try to cover off the Carolina Beagle cars? Can he hold off Team Ralph? Oh, he gets turned! He gets turned and goes up the racetrack. Huge crash. Caution's out. He tried blocking Bren Roberts as Bren went down the racetrack. And they all pay for it behind. First caution of the HTL Cup Series season puts us in overtime in Duel 1. And that was what Lily Sharp did not want to see. Josh Stoltz down pit lane with damage. Some cars heavily destroyed. Elias Flores could not make it back to pit lane. Huge crash in turns 3 and 4, coming to 4 laps to go. Richard Odie, front and center on all of that. Let's take a look with AB in slow motion. See, the spins already happened, and we'll see if we can go up above. It's a nice little chopper cam. Actually, blimp cam may be a little bit better. There we go. ABN quarter speed, slow motion. Bump from Bren. Bren begins his move to the bottom of the racetrack. Odie tries blocking it off. But in just that split second, Bren's got an overlap. And Odie unable to see it coming. And you're going to see the hit that Flores takes. Huge shot for him, shot for Stoltz, shot for Meredith, and for Byron Jones in that 5-car stack up. And you see Lily Sharp had to go through the grass to avoid it all. Almost was in it. And that is a lifeline for both Riley Garcia and Chelsea Carter, who were kind of floating without a paddle, couldn't go anywhere. Now they've got a shot. And again, wild stuff here. We'll back it up a little bit. We'll see if we can actually get on board with one of the cars that were involved here. Let's see if we can potentially get on board with Elias Flores. There we go. On board, the 99. Nothing Flores can do there. He has got no steering at all in the front of that car. On board Zach Meredith. So overtime here in Duel 1. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It is Bryn Roberts, Patrick Oberstadt, Stephen Oberstadt, Jeremy Braille, Chevrolets 1, 2, 3, and 4. Brady Smith, Tyler Ratliff in row 3. Lily Sharp, Mark Kissenweather, row 4. Row 5, Riley Garcia and Blake Galloway. Row 6, Olivia Pereira and Alfredo Hidalgo. Chelsea Carter and Byron Jones, row 7. Row 8, Richard Odie and Josh Stoltz. Ross Baxter and Elias Flores in row number 9. Flores a lap down. There are 3 attempts at overtime for HTL rules, so Flores could get his lap back if he's not involved in the next caution, provided it happens before the white flag. If we get to the white flag, the race is official. Race it back to the start-finish line and to the checkered flag. Meredith on pit lane. He has accepted that he is not going to get anywhere with that 17 car as damaged as it was. You will watch the rest of this race from pit lane. Duel 2 not far behind this as well, so we're going to have a pretty quick changeover in the intermission coming up. Everyone watching with bated breath as we go racing in overtime in Duel 1. Carolina Beagle Racing have control of both lanes. Outside lane did not get going, and inside lane's got the manpower. Only 4 on the outside lane, 7 on the inside lane and counting. Bryn Roberts, 2-time race winner last season. Oberstadt. Patrick watched him win both those races, was podium support for both. Both Stephen and Patrick, winners at Daytona in ARCs, trying to win in HTL. Coming to the white flag. We've got 1 lap to go. Presented by Southern Cleaning Company. Patrick abandoned. 3 wide behind. Everything sorts out at the moment. A lot of things shuffling around further back outside the top 5. Everyone trying to make moves. Odie shuffles to the outside lane. Here comes Brady Smith to the outside. And they get wrecked. Huge crash. Sharp involved. Sharp involved. Garcia's now in the position. They're racing back to the line. Carolina Beagle Racing wins the duel. It's Bren Roberts that wins. And Riley Garcia makes the field. Riley Garcia makes the HTL Daytona 500. Chelsea Carter and Lily Sharp are out. Bren Roberts wins duel number 1. In overtime, over Steven Oberstadt, Blake Galloway, Mark Kissenweather, and Brady Smith. Wild stuff. Absolutely wild. Bren Roberts starts the season the way he wanted to with a win in the duel. He qualified well, kept himself in the top 5, and gets to burn it down in duel 1. And that's sheets number 83. New look, same vibe, and that is get to victory lane if you are Bren Roberts, and he does just that. Riley Garcia 6th makes the transfer into the HTL Daytona 500. I had a Chelsea Carter finish 9th, will not make the field. And Lily Sharp involved in that last lap crash in turns 3 and 4 ends up crossing the line 15th and out of the HTL Daytona 500 for the first time. Dramatic at the end sets the tone for duel 2. It is Bren Roberts that begins the season on a hot streak. And in a great way. Outstanding stuff. We have duel 2 coming up here in less than 10 minutes. We hope you join us for duel 2 coming up. It's going to be a very, very wild night. Wild stuff. We love it. We will step aside for a quick intermission while we get ready to go. Stay tuned for more racing to come here in Daytona. Duel 2 coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. Duel 2 almost underway. We have a lot in store tonight with one more race to go in qualifying for the Daytona 500 next Monday. Duel 2 almost ready to go, so let's go ahead and jump into the starting grid for duel number 2. Josh Susie, Dale Markowski will make up the front row. Susie outside pole sitter, guaranteed that starting spot for next Monday's race. Everyone else having to figure out their spots on the fly tonight. Markowski in second place to get things started. Hunter Beach and Dean Clavitt in row number 2. Clavitt locked in on speed. Makes it a pretty straightforward fight between Kyle Taub and Angel Santiago for that last transfer spot. Zach Apperson and Blake Henderson, teammates in row 3 for Tombstone Motorsports, as they sit there in 5th and 6th. Dustin Hall for Tombstone as well in 7th place alongside Eli Sasek. A lot of the Fords in this field. Row 5, Bailey Thompson and Matt Vorndren make up the top 10. Cody Pennell and Gary Donaldson will make up row number 6, 11th and 12th on the grid. Tucker Sawyer and Angel Santiago in row 7. Santiago and Kyle Tao will be a conversation piece of this duel. Only one of them gets to advance to the race next Monday. Josh Arnold and Chad Swatsworth, teammates for Militia Racing Club in row number 8. Kyle Taub and Randy Payne in row 9. And that'll be the last row on the grid. Militia Racing Club, 3 of those 4 cars in this duel. Kissenweather in duel 1 just a few minutes ago. We'll see if they work together to try to get Kyle into the race in Daytona next week. See if they work together there early on. A lot of work going into this race. Qualifying almost completed. One more 40-lap event to go to set the rest of the stage for next Monday. Josh Susi, the 2-time defending champion, former HTL Daytona 500 winner, trying to do it again. New team, new look, new car. Green flag is in the air. Same passion as we get underway. Remember, inside lane was more prevalent in Duel 1. Is that the case in Duel 2? And will that be the case next week? A lot changing. New iRacing build coming out tomorrow. Outside lane works early. Markowski gets ahead and gets to the bottom. Clavitt with support from Thompson. Sorry, from Henderson. 25 car. Clears himself. Henderson clears Markowski. So Henderson in second, behind Clavitt. And ahead of Markowski. Susi drops to fourth. Outside lane moved early and got to the bottom quickly. So they believe the outside lane not viable outside the opening lap and outside of restarts. But they did learn from Duel 1. That is the advantage those in Duel 2 have. You get to watch and learn and apply that in real time. And they've done just that. There's a complete lap number 2. For those split screening us with Monday Night Football, scoreboard bottom of your screen for a moment. The Bears leading 17-6 over Minnesota in Chicago. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. We'll be done before they are. Clavitt leads. He's locked in on speed. The conversations with Santiago and Taub, who are outside the top 10 at the moment. And one thing you'll notice, the field did not waste any time getting single file. They know the outside lane is not a good fight to have at this point. They learned what we learned in Duel 1, and that is that you have to wait for the pit stops to break the field up a little bit. A lot of your veterans, a lot of your race winners, a lot of your predicted championship contenders, your playoff drivers are in this duel. Their experience on top of what they just learned in Duel 1 providing a very different start to Duel 2. We'll see how that plays out. sitting steady at the moment. Not a lot of rolling going on at the moment on board with Josh Susie. FG Motorsports, Caribou, Maine. Name of the game for the 24. Running on board, following Markowski at the moment. If you want to look behind, that's what's behind him, Hunter Peach. But it's all single file at the moment. As we sit and watch. A lot of experience at work here. Clavin, a Daytona 500 winner with Susie. 2 500 winners in this duel. 3 if you include Henderson in his ABN Daytona 500 victory 2 years ago. A little bit of movement happening behind, and that's where it's happening. Dustin Hall watching as the Militia Racing Club cars try to move forward. That's Taub. They've got to move a little bit of damage on the back of the 56 car, it looks like. Looks like could have been from a checkup earlier on. And again, Kyle Taub, this is Militia Racing Club trying to ensure that Taub makes the race. That's what they're doing right now, and they're trying to do so. Santiago sitting back. He's not in a hurry at the moment. He knows what they're doing. He'll peel out from behind Thompson, and he'll just stay in the back of these lines. Not a whole lot you can do right now, and there's not a whole lot of reason to do anything right now, knowing you've got 33 laps to go in Duel 2. One of our rookies also has an onboard camera, Randy Payne, on his own. Pit lane started. So he's on an island at the moment. So this wondering what's going on. Nothing wrong with him. Just sitting on an island. Racing happening now. They waited 8 laps and got bored. Effectively how that plays out. Dean Clavitt up and rolling near the front of the field, but not leading the way. That is now in the hands of Dale Markowski, and now the 12 of Josh Arnold. Arnold and Swatsworth, they get clear, and I think they left Kyle Taub out to dry on the outside lane. Oops. Not great. They up back at the outside now to try to help him out. That was a bit of a oops moment. Swatsworth checks up Markowski. Whoa, trouble, trouble. Santiago turned. And cautions out. Santiago got turned. Several cars involved. Donaldson and Sasek involved. And that's not what Santiago wanted to be involved in early on. Santiago involved early on in the first caution of Duel 2, second caution of the night. And this is Sasek trying to put it 3 wide. We'll look from our blimp cam here. And I have a feeling this is just Sasek being a little bit greedy early on. Unfortunately, nothing unfamiliar for Sasek at these plate races. He got away with one in the Firecracker last season, but it bit him hard at the Daytona 500 last year. Bounces off of Susie. Susie luckily did not get any more than that. And you can say instant karma, Sasek involved in that and know where he can go. Thompson avoids that. Cody Pennell slams Eli Sasek. That's where a lot of Sasek's damage came from. Donaldson gets a little bit. So instant karma for Sasek in a 4-car accident on lap 9. And the field comes down pit lane. And what this has done is this has made this a fuel strategy race. This has made it a fuel safe. anyone was hoping for it to be a fuel save, but that's where we're at right now. Arnold, fuel stop only. Gets out and holds on to the race lead. Clavitt in second, swaps for third, so teammates will line up first and third. And Clavitt and Henderson will be on the outside lane in second and fourth for them. So everyone gets settled back in here. Just kind of reiterating that the pit window goes a little bit under 30 laps, and they just pit with 30 to go. Those that tried to fuel save got to 27. So they've got to save 3 laps of fuel to avoid a splash and dash at the end. 2 different schools of thought are going to pop up in this conversation. That is, save those 3 laps, stay in a single file line like how we started this race. And you're going to have the school of thought of, let's run as hard as we can and try to open a gap to do that splash and dash. You're going to have 2 immediate schools of thought here. We'll see who's where. Clavitt gives up position. He tops off. That's a smart decision for Clavitt. Markowski, Paul, Thompson, Payne, Santiago, Cody Pennell, Gary Donaldson all do the exact same thing. So over half of the field in Duel 2 topping off with fuel, and I think that gets them to the end without needing that extra stop. And I don't think they have to. I think if they have to save, it's a lap. It's a lap of fuel. I like that call. From Clavitt on down. Clavitt, Markowski, Hall, Thompson, Pennell, Payne, Donaldson, and Santiago. Great call. I really enjoy that call. And that puts our 2 cars battling for a transfer into the 500 on different strategies. Taub didn't top off. Santiago did. We'll see how it plays out. Getting ready to go back racing. Less than 30 to go here in Daytona. We'll start off the season hot. Single file for most of the field. Let's go ahead and crank it up for the first time this season. approaching the halfway point. Everyone fighting a little bit. Santiago, Payne, and Donaldson lost the draft on that restart. Everyone else still pushing. 15 cars in this lead group. Remember, those that topped off with fuel on that restart a little bit better as things currently stand. Swatchford, Taub lead the field. Right now, Kyle Taub in that transfer spot, and safely so. But can it stay that way over the next 23 laps? Everyone fighting. Cody Pennell on that 8 car outside lane, trying to push his way forward with help from Markowski, and he's got it. Outside lane has got some life. Swatchford, Taub, Cody Pennell, Josh Arnold, Dale Markowski, Blake Henderson, Matt Borndren, Dean Clavitt, Hunter Peach, and Eli Sassick, your top 10. As we look at the cross flags. $21 to go. Everyone in lockstep, everyone fighting for something here. Kyle Taub fighting for track position, but he's playing a dangerous game. He's with teammates right now. But if something goes wrong at the front of the field and he's in it, Santiago's got a gift wrap position in the 500. Got to calculate the risk and see how much it's worth it. Santiago in 16th, 8 seconds behind this pack. May be in the safest position possible. We've had one caution, had it on lap 9. Do we get another? Cody Pennell with help from Markowski and Matt Borndren on the outside lane. Teammates together hooked up. Trying to make the magic happen. The 43 at Dean Clavitt outside lane as well. Henderson to the bottom. Sassick up top. Just watching how this race unfolds here. Teammates on the outside, teammates on the inside. Chevrolet versus Toyota, Carolina Beagle versus Militia Racing Club. And then the Cavalry in pursuit behind. Outside lane has a little bit of momentum here. We'll see how much that changes as this goes along, because the harder the cars push on the outside lane, the more they overheat. It's the longer way around. And it ultimately is kind of doomed to fail if you don't have the ability to cycle out. And You really don't right now with how little cars are in this pack. 15 cars, 8 on the inside, 7 on the outside. Outside lane is outgunned, outmanned, and outmaneuvered right now as the inside lane begins to pull forward once again. Swadsworth leading Taub side by side with Cody Pennell. This plays out in real time as we come to 16 laps to go. 16 to go. And it's still level spacing between the two. It's getting harder, though, for Murkowski to push. The more his car overheats. Giving him another pretty big shove. Cody Pennell down the back straightaway. Does Cody try to drop to the bottom? No, does not drop down to the bottom. Doesn't want to abandon his teammates. Murkowski hoping to get clear, and it looks like they might. Murkowski gets clear. I don't think Borndren has. Outside lane suddenly with a huge burst of energy. And now the CBR cars are clear, but Klavick gets the door first. And all three of them come down in front of him. Now it's on Sasek. Sasek and Sawyer to lead that outside lane forward. Can they do it? It is Sasek, Sawyer, Thompson, and Henderson. Your top 4 outside lane. Teammates operating in tandem. 4 Tombstone cars on that outside lane behind the 2 Ascent cars. Apperson moves to the bottom. Cody Pennell leads, just as Bryn Roberts did in Duel 1. Can Carolina Bugle Racing sweep the duels? Wouldn't that be an impressive start? Right now they're 1, 2, 3. That's going to be hard. Going to be hard to take care of. Whatever it was they figured on the outside lane, no one's been able to replicate it. That outside lane fell apart. Hunter Peach trying to revive it now. With Susie in tow, so NFG teammates now nose to tail on the outside. See if they can figure it out. They might. Pulling on the Malaysia Racing Club cars. For Toyota's outside lane. A little bit of side draft. I think NFG's got it figured out too. NFG 100% has it figured out. Wow. There's some teams that can make that outside lane work. NFG's one of them. Shouldn't be surprised. Josh Susie and Hunter Peach are 2 of the best drivers in the series. And putting them as teammates should be a war crime. But here they go. Tandeming to the front. Got ahead of Carolina Bugle Racing. Now Ascent's got to do the same thing. Tombstone back up top as well. Led by Dustin Hall. Apperson behind him. Then it's Thompson, and then it's Henderson. Bad bump by Sawyer to Sasek. They were getting some momentum going. Sasek still led that lap, but not comfortably. 11 to go. Toyota's leading both lanes. Where have I seen this before? Outside lane falling apart. The Ascent car is just not lining up well, and it's costing the entire outside lane right now as it sits. You gotta be lined up a lot better if you're trying to get to the front of the field in this smaller group. You cannot play around with it. Coming to 8 to go. Hunter Peach and Josh Susie currently 1-2. Cody Pennell and Del Markowski clear of the drama. Tucker Sawyer drops back. Tucker Sawyer drops to the back of the pack. Out of the way. This could be the outside lane's last chance. What do they got? Peach continues to lead over Susie. Cody Pennell in third. Dale Markowski in fourth. Sasek level with Borndren for fifth. Dustin Hall with support. Zach Apperson behind him. Can the outside lane charge with Eli Sasek at the helm? Ahead of Markowski. Coming to 7 to go. Car in the middle, 3 wide. That was Swatsworth. New car in the middle, 3 wide. That's the 12 of Arnold. And it's broken up the outside lane. 3 cars together in the outside lane, still pushing. It is Dustin Hall, Zach Apperson behind Elias Flores, and they go 3. And the outside lane has just killed its own chances at trying to go for the race win. Hubris and greed from the Tombstone cars has just made sure that this fight is between NFG and Carolina Beagle. 6 to go. Inside lane running away. Top 4 clear. Vorndren almost clear. The 81. Vorndren is clear. 2 on 3. If Team Ralph want to take it, and they're going to, they go to the outside. 2 on 3. They've got the numbers game. Five to go. This is what I was talking about. When you take away that outside lane, you gave CBR a chance to fill the space. And that's exactly what they've done. The ineptitude between Ascent and Tombstone has locked them out from a chance to win. Coming to 4 to go. The best thing that Ascent and Tombstone can do now is play support. Inside lane, you've got the 3 Militia Racing Club cars supporting NFG. Toyotas all over that inside lane. Ascent is split. Sawyer's on the inside. Sassek's on the outside lane. Bailey's also taken the inside lane and chosen away from her Tombstone teammates as Tombstone struggles. They will continue to struggle. Inside lane pulls away. And the outside lane withers and dies behind CBR. And NFG looking pretty good right now, leading the Toyota Armada. 3 laps to go. Top 5, all Toyotas. Top 6, all Toyotas for the moment. Thompson trying to move forward with Henderson. Henderson in 7th. Thompson in 6th. They're all moving on that inside lane. Two laps to go, 5 miles. Militia Racing Club do not feel confident just yet. They've got the numbers game, but they aren't coordinated enough right now. They aren't coordinated. Thompson going to try to do something she's not done in her career, and that's lead to the win and no support. Thompson left out the drive by Henderson. Henderson gets in front of Thompson, but no support for Henderson either. Everyone getting desperate, coming to the white flag. Sassek went with Henderson, and it's going to lock Militia Racing Club to the bottom. It's going to be dealer's choice for NFG as they lead to the white flag. We got 1 lap to go, presented by Southern Cleaning Company. Here comes Swatsworth outside lane, being pushed by Henderson. NFG staying strong on the bottom. Taub drops out of the conversation. He is safe. He is in the 500. He doesn't want to worry about crashing out. Here comes Henderson on Swatsworth. Swatsworth covers him off. This is for the marbles coming to the finish in Duel 2. Hunter Peach to the outside lane, support from Sassek, and they crash behind. Swatsworth grabs it, and they all crash on the start-finish line. Markowski third, Swatsworth wins the duel. Photo finish between Swatsworth and Peach. Markowski in third, and everyone collapsed behind. Taub made the right decision. He is in the show. Henderson, going for broke, ends up 14th. And he will be in row 14. He will start 28th. Unfortunately, we won't have the ability to do interviews because of time constraints. But a shout out to Bren Roberts winning Duel 1 and Shad Swatsworth for winning Duel 2. They'll start row 2 next Monday behind Olivia Pereira and Josh Susi. Santiago out of the Daytona 500 along with Chelsea Carter and Lily Sharp. And that'll be how things come to an end here in Daytona. We appreciate you spending your time with us here this Monday night for qualifying in Daytona. We'll see you again this upcoming Sunday. Winstall Cup Series action at Kansas, and the next Monday, HTL Cup Series action for the Daytona 500 next Monday, 8 p.m. right here on ABM. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you this weekend. Until then, we'll see you next time from the World Center of Racing. So long, everybody.